kind of.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? Happy Wednesday. Welcome
Hello.
to our brand new show. So excited. So just really refreshing for Melzie and I to get to hang out together, and we're very excited about this. And we've had a very unique opportunity to come together and share what we believe is one of the most important things about being in this body, in this time on this planet, and how to really achieve what you would desire in this life. Want to add anything that to Melzie?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this show too because there's things that I felt that I wanted to help people, bring to the world or bring to awareness, right, to share with people. And I think that this show is going to be able to do that. Um, it's a journey. Everything that we're doing right now is a journey of awakening to new things that we're learning about and awakening to ourselves. And so I'm excited about it. I think that there's a lot that we have to share, and I can't wait to do it. Dive in.
Absolutely. And we thought for our inaugural show that we would point out that Tanya happens to be on the Tiffany blue chair, and Melsie's got her Tiffany blue glasses on. As soon as I saw the color of the chair, I went, "Oh, Melsie's gonna love that." Yeah.
Hold on just a second. My dog.
Yeah, no worries. All good. And we thought we would just share a little bit, and how we came to be where we are, and in the understanding of maybe energy, to be specific, because otherwise I think it would be an hour for each of us to explain how we got where we are today. And it's quite amazing how once you understand that everything is energy, chasing anything in the physical doesn't really work. So it's more about, in my opinion, it's more about using and tapping into your intuition, and which is not of this plane. And when you're realizing that, oh, I have these clairs that I can use to give me information that isn't here in this physical. And then you can take small action, which is your masculine part, to help show source, yes, I want to move in that direction, and take those little actions that build into something bigger. So, yeah. Melzie, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, like you said, these energies that aren't physical, but they're there with us. And so it's interdimensional. We just haven't been taught how to use it or perceive it. And so I think that becoming aware first, and then how do you use your intuition? Is your intuition speaking to you? And what does it mean? Like, we were taught all our lives to think with our head, right? To learn a subject and then regurgitate the subject. but we were never really taught how to use our heart and to use our intuition, right? And to use our creativity. So I hope that this show will do that for a lot of people, and for us too, because this is a journey for us, and I feel that like I just feel so more grounded in different ways than I was even just a little bit ago. And I think that that's because I'm pursuing myself.
Yes. And getting to know who you are, right? And your,
Yeah.
like, getting to know your soul.
Those are
That's what's so cool about this is we have our soul to get to know. Absolutely. And we have beautiful people coming in and making comments, and we're so grateful for you guys for coming and joining. Hey FCB, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see all of you. We're really grateful that you're here, and we want you guys to ask questions as we go, because we often don't know what your perception of what we're saying is, and so it's really important to get those questions go. And yeah, the intro was the bomb, FCB. We all love it.
Yes. I keep watching it over and over again. Thank you so much, SCB.
Yeah, here we come, Egypt, right?
Right, here we come.
Yeah, absolutely, which is in October. So I just got some new info on that today, and I was like,
Stop.
Yeah. And so, Melzie, do you want to go first? How you came into this information around the resonance and what your thoughts are, and what you would like to share with the audience, so maybe they can hear it in a specific way that resonates with them.
Well, that's kind of a long journey. You know, I guess my interest in trying to understand the metaphysical started when I was in my early 20s. I saw a UFO off the coast of Venezuela. I lived there. And so that experience made me want to know what it was I saw, where it came from, how it worked. And then, you know, that journey, I guess, of energy. Nikola Tesla, I started studying Tesla, and I just started Royal Rife and Edgar Casey, and the way that he would use his intuition to help heal people. And so there were just different people, I guess, energy experts, you know, I don't know, masters that I would study. And I met my ex-husband was a homeopath. He was a natural practitioner, and so he would use his intuition and douse, and that's the first time that I actually experienced it, I guess, in medicine. So he would sit with a person, and he would have them hold the remedy, and he would ask them, you know, how they felt, and they would go, I feel nothing. And he would then, you know, he would tell them how they would feel, like, oh, I feel it happening here. And then they would, you know, he wouldn't always tell them. He would kind of try and get them to open up. But he would also use dowsing for information. And so I got to see how your intuition could be used in healing, and but in other ways too that we would use it. So that is kind of the biggest part, I guess, that I started using it in my life. It wasn't just something I was studying.
Yeah, he has something to say too.
My dog is here, and he's pestering me, and I had him really all nice tied up over there, and he got loose, of course, right when we started the show.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. And so how do you now use energy on a daily basis? How are you using your intuition? What are the benefits of being tapped in that way?
I think there's lots of different ways that I use it. You know, I douse a lot, so I'll ask questions. Should I do this? Should I not? Is this good or is this not? So I'll ask yes or no questions to help me in different ways. You know, with answering different questions that I want. But sometimes it's different. Like you know, in the Native Americans, they say that there's good medicine or bad medicine or medicine woman. So it's not that, you know, they're giving a person medicine or that they're a healer, but they have a medicine, right? They have an energy. So I think that when you're aware that you have energy, and we all do, that it affects people, then we have good medicine that we can help people with, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to know how to douse, but we know that when we react with someone that is within a positive way, that it's different, right, than if we have an outburst of anger, or we're triggered by something. So I think that that's important, that our energy is really our masterpiece.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And for me, everybody wants to know the dog. Well, can we have the dog's name? And do you want to just give a little shot of the dog?
Sure.
Maybe this is
This
an
is,
attention that'll help.
come here, Josie. This is Dozer.
Hi, Dozer.
Dozer's,
Yeah.
he's my buddy. No,
Yeah. He's your fur baby.
he's my fur baby.
Yeah, absolutely. And where are you right now? Because everyone's like, "Oh, you're out of the desert." Tell everyone where you are.
I'm in the Gila Wilderness on the Continental Divide. So the campground that I'm staying at is just. I was in the national forest for about a week, and I drove down one day and it said laundry, showers, and I went, "What? Wait a minute! I think I might be a customer." So I stopped, and then I found out that they had good Wi-Fi here. So I asked about camping out tonight here, and then being able to broadcast live from here.
Awesome. Awesome.
And it's in a really, like, this town is so awesome. It's I don't think there's any place that you have to know somebody to get here, to live here, and it's called
Awesome.
Pino Altos, and it's a really quiet little mountain town. There's really nothing here but some people, and you see them
That's
walking their dogs in the morning.
yeah, and it's peace and quiet, and it's much cooler than the desert for you. And
Oh my gosh,
how far is
it's
it from
only
your desert home?
it's only about an hour and a half, so it's pretty close.
What took you so long?
Ignorance is what took me so long.
I said I'd stay in the desert. I'm staying in the desert.
I just, I didn't know. People would tell me, like my neighbors, they said they actually are the ones that got me away from the desert. They were like, "Hey, Melzie, why don't you come to the lake?" And I was like, "No, I have to work." And they said, "Well, just bring Dozer, and we'll watch Dozer. Dozer at least can be at the lake." And I thought, okay. So I brought Dozer, and then I stayed. I was like, why am I going to work? So so then they told me about different places that were in the area. They said, this is wonderful in the wintertime, in the fall and the spring, but the summer, you got to go. And
Yeah.
so I'm here for a little bit. And it's been really wonderful to travel. We get kind of stuck in our pattern of routine, and just being in nature, making a fire in the morning for breakfast, and it's just been very simplistic, but it's been good for my soul. And
Yeah.
I took a trip down to so I'm close to the Gila Cliff Dwellers, and there's hot springs there. So I've been to them before, but I've never driven myself. And the road, when you drive, it says 5 miles of, you have to have your brakes at low gear, and I'm like, 5 miles, right? And they mean it. So I was honestly, I was like this. My hands were sweating, my brow was sweating, everything. I'm like, oh my God. And you can't turn around, and I could smell my brakes. Which isn't a good thing.
Yeah,
but I made it. I made it to the end, and it really was like, I don't know, a symbology of how life can be at times. How you're just white knuckling it, 5 miles straight down the mountain curves, and you get to the end though, and I got to spend this beautiful time in the hot springs and go up into this canyon that has the cliff dwellers. and there's water up there, and it's just so sacred, really. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Nice. And what were you driving to get there?
I have a SUV, but
Okay.
yeah, but still, it's you you have to use your low gears, and
Yeah.
I didn't kind of figure that out until I was, I don't know, 2.5 miles into the downward trek. Oh yeah, you should turn this on. But I made it, and I think that I'm going to have my brakes checked.
That's probably a good idea. Awesome. And yeah. All right. So let's roll back into, then we know where Melzie is and that she's enjoying some cooler weather. I'm so happy for you because yeah, it just doesn't get that hot here in BC. It's always, I don't know, if we tap over 30 degrees Celsius, people, Celsius, that's a surprise, right? It's not often that we do. And whenever you do, even if you go to the ocean, there's this breeze. So you're like, ah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to share a little bit and maybe tapping into and being asked to tap into the fact that we're really souls having this human experience. And if energy can't be created or destroyed, what is operating this body, right? So there's something happens with the avatar when it's done, and then your soul leaves the body. And you can actually intentionally leave your body if you choose. And we do every night to do work in other dimensions per se. And that's another show. But I just wanted to remind everyone that light inside of you, that point is really who you are. And then you have a bit of an oversoul, which is in another dimension that's working to guide you. But in this human body, we have this thing called free will. And when you're stubborn, like some of us, I might be naming myself, that sometimes that free will can get you in more trouble than not, so to speak, with understanding who you are. And so I've gone through most of my life as the person that goes in the other direction. I always buck the trend, always. If everybody was doing something else, I was always like, well, what's over here? What's happening here? And I really didn't ever quite really feel like I fit in, which we moved around a lot when I was a kid. And my dad did road construction. So moving around a lot, always in different schools and just, never liking it. And when I was in grade 11, grade 10, they opened a entrepreneurship program in my high school for grade 11 and 12. And in order to graduate from that, you actually had to open a business. And I went, oh, that's me. That's me.
Yeah.
I like that because it wasn't I couldn't memorize subjects. I was like, but why do I need to know it? How is this? And I would correlate everything. Is this important for my life? It was always yes or no. And I always went that through. I just wanted to get out and work. I was like, screw school. I'm done with this shit. I'm going to go work. So I moved out when I was 16 so I could do what I wanted, which was also probably partying a little bit more than I was supposed to, according to my father, who was a do as I say, not as I do man. And in that class, I opened a sample grad trust store where they actually paid for me to fly down to Vancouver, pick up samples, and then I sold out. And I was like, oh, this is more my thing. And so I did retail, and I got into the snowboard industry, which was a lot of fun. And learning how to ski and snowboard when I lived in Whistler. But that got me out of the small town where I graduated. It got me back in the city. And I ended up in Whistler for a while. And even in Whistler, just that push and that drive that I was gonna like learn how to snowboard and do these things, and then finding that peace in that setting, right, in that exterior, in nature, and realizing when I would love to get into and tap into more about who am I and what do I want, and realizing that I had some pretty stiff and rigid rules around myself as far as beliefs. So when I worked in retail, I did snowboard industry. I was in the ski industry first and then snowboard industry. And when I was in Whistler, Blackcomb bought the store that I worked at, which was a one single person owned it. And when he did that, and then Blackcomb came in and expected me to lie to my staff, say specific things, I was like, oh yeah, hell no. This is my family. This is my team. That's not how I treat them. And so I ended up back down in Vancouver and spent many years in the snowboard industry, which was quite beautiful because I really got to travel quite a bit and expand my mind. I really got to do other sport, heliboarding. I never would have heliboarded without that. So I was really into a lot of the extreme sports because in that extreme thing, you're not thinking about anything else. You are doing what you're doing, and your mind has to be like full on point because there's risk involved. And so that precluded with rock climbing. I did mountain biking. So I was always doing these like quite extreme things, but realizing it's a form of meditation, because when you're doing that thing, you can't do anything else. And so then realizing it was also my way of releasing energy, because let's just admit that I have a lot of energy. I can carry quite a bit. I'm a big container. And learning these things about myself and being really grounded, where a girlfriend will always say that, oh, you're just so grounded. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell that means. I'm just me. Right. So I've always kind of just been me. And then realizing as I use my masculine to drive a business forward, to be very successful, but at the risk of me completely burning out. And that was when I had started the painting company after I left retail, because retail, I can tell you right now, you can only do so much retail before you're like, I'm so done with this game. And no matter what I was doing, whether it was painting or managing the retail store, which we did 120,000 and on one day and Boxing Day, and we went from 700,000 to 7 million in 7 years. So there's my sevens. Sevens have always been a big number for me. It blew up completely. I spent $1 million a year shopping, but in an industry where nobody ever grows up, everybody's got Peter Pan syndrome. They're just going to play for the rest of their lives, which is fine, but it's a play and party. It's P&P. And eventually that doesn't fill the soul anymore. So I left that and ended up starting a painting company, because a friend of mine, who happens to be the father of my child, was working at a company, and I was doing bartending to pay the bills. And I had decided that, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter if that person buys my product. I don't care. What I do care about is that they're educated enough to understand the decision they need to make, so they make the right decision for themselves. And that's always kind of been my mantra around that. I couldn't do the sleazy sales techniques or anything. It was always just like, here's me, here's what I think, take it or leave it. That's it. And so that has been a bit of a motto, and it's even my motto now for people, right? I'm just sharing my experience through this. And so as I built this business, and very driven and very masculine and very much in ego and very much fight or flight all the time, right? Like if somebody had something to say, I always had an opinion back. And so I would react. And now I'm very much calm, respond, I wait. I'm like, yeah, it's your experience. I don't care anymore. I'm out of the extreme sports pretty much. I still go mountain biking once in a while, but I used to wakeboard. I used to do anything to find that space of like, I'm focused on this, and you get that adrenaline rush at the same time. It's quite fun. But also not necessary anymore, as I find that inner peace much easier now. And so I had this business and running it. And I hit a point where it was like, I can't do this on my own anymore. The way I'm operating is no longer working. And I found a coach. And I found a coach that had also a master coach that came in. And my first meeting with the master coach was, you're a really good manifester. Your brain's just giving what you're asking for. And I kept saying, I'm just so busy. He goes, yeah, you're asking for that. I was like, oh, it was like a light bulb moment. And I was like, oh, fudge, I need to retrain my brain. And then I went down the path of, okay, so how do I do that? And I ended up finding Mind Valley and Marissa Peers, who does quite the program. And I took a program that she did, and it's basically retraining your brain and realizing that your brain isn't necessarily your friend the way you've been programmed throughout your life. And then learning about the subconscious. And so I became a Mind Valley Master Certified Trainer, until again, they told me this is how you need to do it. And I was like, no, I'm out. Don't ever tell. Anything that says you need to behave this way, I'm out. Yeah. So I don't like to be told what to do at all. And the beautiful thing was, though, the experiences and watching all of these teachers and trainers and always being on a stage, I would take people and put them in a circle. So I don't, unlike here, like you guys, we're with you in this chat, and I will come back to it. But to just really remember that our consciousness travels, not our soul. Yes, that's true. And to remember that we are souls having this human experience, and it's such a beautiful experience to have, and to come to this realization and to be able to, I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, and have that click of, oh yeah, I just need to reprogram my subconscious. And I did a self-sabotage coaching program, and I to break freedom from self-sabotage. And I was like, yeah, but that's still a negative Nelly thing, right? Like, so it's just taking all these pieces and then going, I think I have enough now. And then as you start to get your clairs and maybe you hear messages, maybe you capture things, it's becoming that real observer and looking for the magic in everything. So even for example, this morning, first thing was the water dancing and the light codes coming off. And I'm like, oh, those are my light codes. And downstairs I go onto the deck and I'm like, ah. And just really that magic moment of enjoying that and embracing that.
Yeah.
And it's always the little things. It's not the big things. It's always the little things, because that gratitude buildup in the body just helps shift you right away. And so as we go through this experience, and I have claircognizance, I just freaking know. And as soon as, and the rods help, right? You can use these for your intuition, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And I'm happy to do another show just on the rods for people, or maybe whatever Melzie uses. I often will just use my fingers. You can use your body for the sway test. We've talked about this before. When you stand really straight and you say, my name is Tanja, and usually tip forward, right? Or you can say your name is Fred, and usually you'll tip backwards. You can douse yourself that way. Put food in your hand, or put herbs in your hand, or medicine in your hand, and decide whether or not you need it. And so some people get voices and they hear clearly. I've started to see a lot more in my meditations. I've started to get messages in different ways, whether, so you just really have to be that ever student and observing to get this. And, it came to be where I was instructed, basically, I know I've been here to help humanity through this consciousness shift for a long time and just didn't know how. And then when our friend came along that kind of shut the world down, it was like, oh, damn, this is my go time. I just knew. And I was like, all right. So, and to pay attention to that, I'm like, okay, watch what's going on, go down every rabbit hole. Okay, now I've got the big picture. And, to continue to get the teachings of that, Source just wanted to know itself. There was a consciousness. First, there was a wave of energy, and then there was a consciousness that came together and a thought. And then it was lonely. Like, well, I don't know. I want to see more. I want to know more. So, I can split, right? And get to know itself. And then it splits and splits and creates and creates. And so here we are in this creation created for us to experience, but also to send messages back to the living library for Source, because Source just wants to know all the info. It loves to learn just like we do. And so it doesn't matter if it's a good experience or bad experience, it's just an experience. And so when we get into this point where I'm at now, which is this beautiful neutral point of, is it good or is it bad? Who knows? It just is. And when you don't have these reactions and you can just observe it and then respond, life gets a lot easier, guys. And this is part of what we want to teach you about, and that everything is energy, manifestation. When you shift your energy, you shift everything that happens around you, because it's like a wave going out. It's like a ripple in the ocean. And we are just all those little drops of water going through this life. And so people get caught up in the wave of life and forget that you can stop and go in, and that wave will start to just pass over. And you're like, oh, I can just watch the waves go by. I don't have to ride it constantly and be caught in it and be in that, the watcher of the wave when it comes into shore. So there's many analogies we can use. And how do you navigate? Because you came out of a relationship, and you came out of like quite a bit to go stand and be on your own and find you as well. Share a little on that.
Well, I think the first thing is willingness. It's work to work on yourself. And so I had to be willing to do the work. And I don't know, it was kind of like I learned that my mind was controlling me, like you had said. My mind was, I couldn't settle my mind. So I'm a thinker, so I would think. And sometimes it was, I never had peace within myself. And we would go to this book club, and the lady, she had,
wrong studio.
She had,
sorry, ladies.
Hey.
Don't forget to tune into The Pulse. See you soon.
You
Great
bet.
work, ladies. Love the Tiffany glasses and the chair and everything else. Great stuff. Bye, everybody.
Hi. Is he gone?
Yeah, now he's gone.
So this lady, she led our book club, right? And she would do this meditation before we did the reading, and we'd read these awesome books. So I was always excited about the books because I'm a thinker, right? But we had to like let go first. And so she would go, you know, the Om, that she would have a little like bell and ding it, and I hated it. I would sit there and wait, you know, oh, come on, when is this going to be over? It was just such a struggle with myself. And but then I started using like music, I guess, the 432 solfeggio frequencies and binaural beats.
Yeah.
But I started to be willing, like, you know, wait a minute, there might be something to this meditation thing here. I started to look at it not just like, oh, I have to empty myself and I can't do it, as to, well, maybe there's some benefit to it, right? Maybe you might be happier without all these thoughts that are controlling you. So I started using it. There's something called Synctuition out there, and they have like these sound journeys for 20 minutes, and I invested in it, and I would listen to it every day, and it really did start to help me, and it changed me, you know, and I looked forward to it, and I started to realize that release, it wasn't about me not thinking, it was about me learning to release myself. And when I could do that, then I could have a little bit of peace at that time. And so I started to then use other techniques, like, you know, another sound journeys. And I look forward to the meditation now, and it's different. So,
Yeah.
and I don't think, like, my mind, even the emotions too, like sometimes you don't have to have the emotion that you should have, you know, like anger or fear. You know, maybe you might have that for a moment. Hold a second, I'm getting someone coming in. Just a second.
No worries. Just go ahead and mute.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And so I just wanted to tap into that a little bit, because when, you know, meditation is not about quieting the mind. It's about observing your thoughts in a different way. And then I did a whole meditation. One of the ones I did was, I am not this body, I am not this mind. And eventually it was like it unplugged a bit. It was like a release. And that emotions come and go. They're not fact. And thoughts are not fact either. It's just a thought and they come and go. So, but when we attach to it and haul it in and like hang on to it really tight, that's when the charge happens that you hold in your body. And we don't want to do that. So the more you can release that, the more you can free that out of your body, the more your energy system will be cleaner and it'll get easier for you. And it can be quite beautiful. Go ahead, Melzie.
Yeah, so that helped me a lot, was to let go of those thoughts that were controlling me, and then to also realize that I could control my emotions in certain areas. I didn't have to let them control me. So, you know, it's a journey, right? It's a journey to yourself, and it's not easy, and you can mess up. But, you know, Greg Braden, he did something called, I think it was the Event Horizon. And so you have to sometimes have an event inside of your life in order to make change. Otherwise, we get in that circular pattern of the same thing over and over and over again. So, you know, sometimes those event horizons aren't so much fun to go through. But if we choose to have a different outcome, we don't have to go through that cycle again. So when you realize that you're in a pattern, then you can have the opportunity to be released from that cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the more you're willing, and you can even do an active meditation. You can do active meditation, walking in nature without your phone, without music, and just be really observant. Listen to the birds, look at the trees, look at the plants. When I'm outside now, I'm constantly like, what berries can I eat? What plants can I eat? Like, everyone laughs at me when they walk with me. I'm like, oh, that's pineapple weed. in my mouth. Like, what are you eating? And I'm like, a little bit of nature here and there, because I believe it helps you commune with nature more, which is quite beautiful. And so there's other ways of doing these meditations. And we just invite you guys to realize you are so much more. You are so much more than you've been led to believe. And you're starting to get it. I see little wins here and there within the group that we have on Telegram. And it's beautiful to watch. It's beautiful to see. And yeah, huckleberries. I was eating blackberries. Not anymore. My tongue was completely blue earlier. Those blackberries, and they're all fat and sitting in the sun. And I was like, oh, this is the best. My pants have little snags on them because I was like stomping and climbing right in to get that perfect one that's way in there. That's a form of meditation too. Where's the next good one? Because your eyes are focused on doing something. Like, it's just really beautiful. And then the more I, close my eyes and I focus on my breath and I drop down in here and I ask a question, or not even ask a question. I just go into relaxation. And what do I need to know that I don't know? And it's fascinating what comes through. I've had dragon come through, dragon eye come right up to my eye. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Hello, dragon. So it's just realizing that these things are not made up. And it's more like a memory than it is like full vision, in my opinion. And some people hear voices. I hear a lot of the time. Maybe they hear a song. So it's just realizing and then having a little bit of joy that, oh, that was cool. I got that. And then you're going to get more. Yeah, absolutely. You get more of that. Have you been out picking anything in nature lately? What have you got in your area?
Oh my gosh, there's a lot out here. They have like sunchokes or Jerusalem artichokes. They look like they're sunflowers, and they're one of my favorites to eat in the fall time.
Yeah.
And there's golden seal, or it's golden seal, or what is it? Solomon seal. It's one or the other that's blooming right now. And I think that it's golden seal, not Solomon seal. The Solomon seal, I think, has a yellow flower on it. Mullein is here, a lot of mullein in lamb's quarter, if you know what lamb's quarter is. It's really tasty to eat.
I don't know that
lamb's
one.
quarter.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I love it. You probably will I'm sure it grows by you.
Yeah. And well, it's good because we can talk about that too. How many things grow wild? And I feel this year they've been coming back more and more. Like there's I'm a big berry person. I find blueberries. I'll go like get lost in the woods and just go see what I can find. And then all the herbs for healing too. So everything has a frequency. And if you think about it, even the herbs and the plants and fruit has the highest frequency of the food we can eat. And so I always encourage everyone to eat fruit when you break your fast, whatever time that may be. And when you extend your fasting, you also give your body a chance for it to energetically work on cleaning you out more and healing you more. Yeah. And that 72-hour fast point is perfect, but you can do a fruit fast. You don't have to go full on, oh, I'm just going to have water. I'm actually not a fan of that. Yeah. Or tea. You can do whatever you need to do. You can do aloe vera. Some people do that. Some people do charcoal, activated charcoal and lemon. You have many, many options. I like the Master Cleanse because it's one of my, and then I add the turmeric in there. That one resonates for me because I can add in the maple syrup. And then, so if you get hungry, you just add a little bit of that. But, you can certainly have the fruit. So these are all just for ideas of frequency. Fabric also has frequency. And I know that Q17 will have something to say about this, but linen has a very high frequency. This is wool. This is a merino wool, has high frequency. So the more your clothing has higher frequency, that also helps your body. The more you get in the sun. So in the morning, when we go out and the sun hits our eyes without sunglasses on, your body's triggered to create a chemical that protects your skin. And when you don't, and you go out and put sunglasses on, you slather on the sunscreen, you're stopping your body from doing what it naturally does. And you're clogging your pores with this product, depending on what it is. And then, other issues ensue. Your body's always just giving you messages and letting you know what you need to do as well. Yeah.
Yes. It is like we're energy beings, and like you said earlier, like the ripple effect in water, but we are water, right? A great portion of us is water, and water has plasma in it, so it can hold memory, and so how are we connected or interconnected to this field that we can't see? You know,
Yeah.
maybe it's through our water. I don't know. It's through a plasmic element, I believe. And so we're not really separate from it. We're connected to it. We just can't see it because it's like we're tuning into a frequency, right? Like, and so if you're at
Right?
a lower frequency, you can't hear it. You can't see it. You got to get, you know, a higher frequency so you can see it and hear it,
Yeah,
and then vibe with
absolutely.
it, and then help create that music, right? Because we're all a piece of that pattern and fabric of the sympathetic vibratory universe.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll put some meditations on the site, guys, for sure. And then there's been a question about explaining what time is. So if you look at it this way, we've all been led to believe that time is very relevant and linear. And it's not. There's no such thing. Like I find the more I go inward, like I don't even remember some things from the past. I'm like, oh, that one. And my daughter's always been this way. She's like, we don't want pictures on the I don't have any family photos up in my house because I'm like, well, that's the past, right? Like I have one of my dad that's in my office because my dad has passed away, but it's irrelevant because he's always with me. But to realize that, and Monroe can talk about this in Playing with Time, everything's frequency and different vibrations. So there isn't even such thing as past lives. It's more like time lifelines and different frequencies of your lives happening, because that's how it's actually. There's a really good, we should get that video. There's a really good video that I think Greg Bryden has it that explains that one about the way the frequencies work. And when you cut it this way, it does this. Also the different dimensions as well. So we will come up with some visuals for you guys. Today was more about a little storytelling, a little interaction, a little discussion. And, you know, everyone gets hung up about things that happened in the past, but the past doesn't serve you anymore. What does it do for you? How does hanging on to the past? So if you're usually in depression, if you're worried about the past and hanging out in the past, and that's done intentionally, because you're constantly judging yourself. So you think you're stacking up this list of shit that, you know, you did wrong, or you have anxiety about the future when it hasn't even happened yet. So there really is only this time. There's only this present moment. And we've made this construct here in this dimension around time. And I need to be on time. And it's important to be on time. And it's like, man, it's just another kind of around our brain to keep us a specific way. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah. What is a spiral? Spiral is spiral like this. So I'm an energy spiral. Absolutely. And yeah, it's a frequency, a type of frequency. Absolutely. And I don't want to go too far into some things because we don't want to stay where you can meet you where you're at. So we'll put some meditation sites, and yeah, absolutely. Clean temple is vital for ascension. It is. And what is ascension? What is that? You know, it's really about getting your body into such a form that you are now in full control energetically of what is going on around you, what's happening for you, that you're not being reactive. And then as you clean your temple up, the energies will shift in your body. And we are moving, and I have no idea how long this will take. It depends on us. Depends on how quickly we move. We're rising up in a new way. But there's a kundalini within your body that can bring you right up so that you can actually, in your third eye and your pineal, come face to face with God, source, Jesus, whoever shows up for you. But that's requiring a very clean vessel. And so that's cleaning out all the stuck emotions in your body. And most disease is generally stuck emotions, or it could be parasites, which is, you know, been sent. So I always say, somebody's like, oh, I have a cold. I'm like, no, you don't have a cold. You're getting an energetic upgrade. Oh, I like that idea. I'm like, yes, that's all anything ever is, in my opinion, is this opportunity to switch and switch it in a different way and clean it out. And so doing a parasite cleanse and doing a detox and eating more fruit, take it as fast or as slow as you want. But it's up to each of us to decide that we want to do that. And there's going to be no, you know, there's no right or wrong. There just is in this process. What did you do, Melzie, to clean out your system?
Well, I use you know, I've used diatomaceous earth, black walnut hull tincture, I like black walnut hull tincture. I think it's a little bit more easier, and it helps with iodine. But then I've used ivermectin, and I've also used HCQ.
Okay.
Ivermectin was really strong for me. But I think that it's kind of a combination of different things because, you know, sometimes your body isn't receptive to certain things or it's too harsh, right? Like ivermectin was really a hard cleanse for me. And I didn't like it, right? I didn't feel good on it. But you don't feel good sometimes when you're cleansing. It's like
Yeah.
agony. You
Yeah.
don't. And so you got to just kind of go through it, drink water, know you're not dying, and, you know, just continue on.
Yeah, absolutely. And figure out what's missing in your diet. So quite often I just douse for people when they're asking because they don't know yet, but it's good to teach you
Hmm.
guys how to do this yourself. And what we're trying to get you to understand is that there's another way of perceiving everything. And once it clicks for you, it's like you can't stop it anyway, because once you know something, you can't unknow it. And so it's just slowly adding on and adding on. Yeah. It's safe to take ivermectin if you unsure. Does Zelda need to do a parasite cleanse? Very soft one. So 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Do 1 week on, 1 week off, 1 week on, and you should be good. You don't have much. So it just depends on
Hmm.
what you need. So, and Zelda, you can ask in the group as well. Absolutely. And thank you for
And
asking
so,
your question here. I'll post it up. Yeah. And yeah. So Melzie,
mhm.
Melzie's got to leave her campsite. So I'm going to stay on and just take a few more questions. So you go do what you need to do. Yeah.
Okay.
You've got
Maybe
to
I'll
leave.
try and get set up somewhere else, but
We're going
this
to wrap.
isn't going
I'm going to be on for 5 minutes. I'm just going to run through. So don't worry about it. We'll be
to.
back
Okay.
next week. When are you back home?
I think I'm going to stay another week here because it's
Awesome.
still too hot to go back home. So I might
Perfect.
go back home and check on things, but then
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll find a better place to go and and do
Oh,
this.
yeah. Okay. Ask him if you give him a little
Yeah.
money. Maybe he'll let you stay. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I tried doing that, and he was just like he knew. Anyways,
That's okay. That's okay. You don't need to explain. All right, you go
yeah.
to you. Thank everyone saying
Okay.
thank you. Yes, absolutely. And we'll be back next week. So, but I'm going to stay on just for a few more minutes and wrap up some questions. All right, Melzie, love
Okay.
you.
Love you too. Bye bye.
Bye. And we just need to remove the banner. Dun, dun, dun. All these fun things that happen when you're playing this game and you're producing your own show. There. All right. So we'll just wrap this up. I just wanted to run through a few more questions and make some comments for you guys and just say thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm so grateful. Yeah. That's beautiful, Lorinda. So Lorinda, here's her comment. I'm just new to all of this, so I really appreciate how you break it down. This is the goal. So my goal is always to meet you where you're at, because I take in a lot of information and I'm like, that resonates, that doesn't. And then 6 months later, I'm like, oh, that's what they were talking about. And so you have to be a very big container to be able to take that kind of info in and run through it. So I highly recommend that, ask the questions you don't know, get in the Telegram group. Everyone's helpful. Yeah, Arlene, I'm very sorry to hear that. It's yeah, wondering what I can take to get past the stroke. Your left side was very affected. Yeah, absolutely. But you're getting your strength back. Beautiful. Okay, you know what? Absolutely. I will be in. So take what you can, but keep watching things like this. Keep working on what can you do yourself. Joe Dispenza has some great visualization meditations on that. And what I would recommend is listening to some of those. He healed his back in the hospital, and he's got some great, that's Joe Dispenza. Just go find him on YouTube. They're free. So try and find some good meditations there. Yeah. And sure, Lorinda, does Lorinda have any blockages that she needs to work through? That's going to take more than just on here, but I get a yes. Rod, say yes. That's more than I can work out quickly on here. So what I do recommend you do is get into the Telegram group. Yeah, Joe Dispenza, correct, Arlene. And it's with a Z at the end instead of an S. And what you can do with the Telegram group, we do a weekly call, and I can dive a little more in there. Absolutely. And we do group healings quite often with Thomas, and he'll probably be on Saturday as well. I haven't talked to him yet, but I'm sure he will be. He loves to come on and help everyone as well. So yeah, Arlene, and that would also be a good opportunity for you too. So yeah, there's other shows that go on every Saturday, and I'm doing it at 4 p.m. PDT this Saturday, so that we can catch people on the other side of the world that often miss my 1 p.m. PDT start. Okay, so yeah, absolutely. DL 3373 asked, my husband and daughter are not as awoke as I. Can we still do ascend together? We're not descending, we're ascending, but that's okay. I know what you mean. And so, and thank you for sharing that 17Q. So I'm going to post this in the other chat here quickly. Yes, most likely. And what I want you guys to all realize is that many more people are going to be triggered to be shifted quite quickly. It's going to happen fast. It's going to be very fast over the next couple months. And so don't be surprised that you just keep holding space and keep being a bright light, keep shining, keep loving. Don't worry about not going somewhere. And don't get that this is happening in they keep talking about this split. So we got 2 timelines happening simultaneously right now. Yes. And so I can see and feel, and I can see it. It's a little discombobulating at times. Yes. Because you can feel so good and so high and then get sucked down into this. And it's like, oh, how do I bridge this? But I am the bridge. And so I'm able to do this bridge and play in both. And I do it quite well, although I still have my sticky points too. I'm not immune to some of these things. But we don't need to worry. This a split on this train will happen in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Could be 3 years, could be 4 years, could be 5 years. So it depends on us. So it's not going to happen like this, and it won't be gone quickly. So you will get more info as we go. Look at it like I'm on an adventure and I'm getting more information all the time. Oh, I don't understand that question. I'm just going to write this question down. I'm going to put it over here in my journal, or put it up on the wall, or put it on a sticky note. Most likely that question should go in a journal that you have, because you may find that answer comes to you, maybe in a video, maybe in a message. Quite often you will have a dream about it, but I wouldn't worry about it, because what does worrying do? It brings your vibration down. It brings you into a vibration of something that you don't know the outcome of yet. So I would really, really love it. Yeah, Sugar Bee, that's a good point. It is a roller coaster. So if you don't want to ride that roller coaster, write it down and go, I'm just going to make a date with those worries on Friday at 3 o'clock. And then Friday rolls around, you pull up your list and you're like, oh, I didn't need to worry about over half of that. I've got one thing that I still have a question about. Let's put that over here, and we'll just keep it over here, because it will get answered eventually. But when you're worried about it and you're stressing about it, you're really just hurting you. And so, yeah. Barbie Staples is asking, I've had fatigue for the last 2 weeks, not sure what's going on with me. You're getting upgrades, right? So don't fight it, accept it, allow it. What do you need to do to take better care of yourself? Do you need to have naps? Do you need to drink more water? Do you need to get out in nature? Do you need to have a salt bath? Nurture this body through this process, because this isn't going to happen this way, because none of our bodies can handle it. That's why it's a slow climb. And you can pause and take a break, right? But you have to realize that these upgrades can be very, very zapping. There's a couple of weeks where I didn't even communicate much, because I was like, oh, I just got to be me and be out in nature and nap a lot and lie with my eyes closed. And what else do I need to know? Really need to stop trying to control what's happening as well, and just allow, and rest is best. Yeah. Rest can be, and nurturing yourself. What vitamins are you missing? Are you getting iodine? Are you getting some salts in you? Are you, have you got enough? Like, there's some really poignant things. Do you have parasites, right? To try and figure out what these things are you might have, and use your body to douse. Get in the Telegram group. I'll direct you always. I'll help you always with that. Okay? I'm here to help. I have no problem with that. And everyone in the group is so beautiful, adding to each other and helping along. And so it's always a process. And all I'm doing is sharing my experience and what I know and how I can help. Yeah, stand in mountain stream water. Absolutely. And did you know any water with like little flakes in it, gold flakes, is ormus, which is philosopher's stone, the gold. It's what everyone was seeking. Monatomic gold. You can drink that. That helps with the upgrades. I have some of David's ormus here. And so there's ways of getting it for other ways, but his alchemized is quite nice. And so, you know, anything you can do to help your system purge. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Never been a napper. I know. There's times where I'm like cruise along and I'm just fine. And all of a sudden it's like, you go lie down now. Have a nap. It's like, I don't have a choice. It's like, okay, I'm going. And quite often it could be that you're supposed to be tapping into something else somewhere else as well for a few minutes. We never know fully, but we will. And we will get to speak to people who have passed. You will get to connect with them again. This is what's really beautiful. We're all souls still. That consciousness is not gone. That person you loved is not gone. Yeah. And you're going to get to meet them, okay? Absolutely. Yeah. Copper cups. I have a copper pitcher at home I use. And I rotate through things quite a bit. Oh, I haven't done this for a while. Like, just whatever you're called to do, whatever pops into your awareness or comes across your field, and douse and see if you need to do it. Absolutely. Wendy is very sick after eating at a restaurant. So did you have food poisoning? Yep. Was it random detoxing? No, it was food poisoning. But remember, those restaurants food's not fresh. And who knows how long that sauce was sitting there, and who knows what's in that, right? So yeah, you all are doing, that's right. Monroe says you're all doing wonderful. We're so proud of you guys. I'm so proud that you're willing to take these steps and do this for yourself, despite all the chaos in the world. Give yourselves a cheer, like, yeah. I'm so proud of you guys. Absolutely. Keep going. And yes, Eddie, sacrifices are part of growing. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And this is here's the Joe Dispenza. And actually that was there we go. Yeah. Can a hernia be healed? Yes, it can. Yeah. Arlene, if you're having trouble with Rumble, you can clear your cache and refresh. Okay. Yeah. And yeah, a hernia can be healed. Absolutely. Get in the group again. And here I'll post up I'm in here somewhere on these banners. Let me see. Oh, maybe it got cleaned out. Did it get cleaned out? We all use this to produce, so it can be there we go. There you go. There's a little more info on me. So, right? I'm on Telegram. You just have to look up my name, guys. I've not hidden myself at all on the whole social media. I just don't. It's like, I've been public face because of Powell painting. I'm just there. So it is what it is. And I've just never worried about it. Just found out I have a gold mine in my backyard. Cool. And you're on ley lines too? Cool. Yeah. I know Tracy's working on the ley line stuff, guys. And when she gets that going, it's going to be really exciting. She does have a channel, and I will get her back on to discuss that further. Do the energies and frequencies coming up from Earth travel more rapidly through water? They can. Absolutely. Think about it. It's more fluid, right? It's within. So all rivers and all lakes are ley lines. I got to wrap it up, guys, because guess what? FCB's coming on for the pulse. And I'll see you guys all on Saturday. Again, that'll be 4 p.m. PDT for Adventures for Connection. And, oh, sorry. No. Yes, 4 p.m. And then we'll do our group session Zoom that I do with the Inner Collective. If you're in that channel, when we do that, we're going to do that at 2:30 p.m. So in hopes of, or maybe after, I'll post that probably tomorrow when I get home. So sending you all lots and lots of love. And water carries codes. Plasma carries codes. The sky is plasma. There's so much underground water. We're never going dry. So, all right, you guys. I love you lots. And we'll see you soon. Thank you for coming.